Welcome to NP 702 Primary Care 1, which is the first of the 3 primary care courses in the series that you will be taking. I'm Dr. Vicki Stone-Gale, and I'm a family nurse practitioner and the course coordinator for Primary Care 1. And joining me this semester will be Dr. Delana Gardner, who is going to be the course faculty. So both of us will be in the course throughout the semester, monitoring the chat boxes, the discussion boards, monitoring any of the activity that's going on in the course, running the BBBs as well as exam reviews, and any of the other content that's involved with the course on a daily basis. I am a family nurse practitioner, and I have been practicing in the Fort Lauderdale area for about 27 years now in family practice. I did do a little bit in urology and a little bit in cardiology, but my main focus really has been in family practice for the entire amount of my career. I received my undergrad degree. I'm a diploma nurse, so I received my diploma from a nursing school in Ohio called Massillon Community Hospital School of Nursing. And then I went on to get my bachelor's and my master's degree as a nurse practitioner at Barry University in Miami, Florida, and then did my doctor of nursing practice at University of Alabama at Birmingham and completed that in 2011. I have been teaching for approximately 7 years, and I've been teaching this primary care course for almost 2 years now. So we're really excited to have you in the course this semester, and Dr. Gardner will also put a little blurb about herself in the people section of the course so you can read about her and what she has been doing. She is a Frontier Nursing graduate with her DNP, so that should make you a little more comfortable. She knows what you've all been going through. We will have a BBB orientation and question and answer session on Monday, which is the first day of class, on April 8th at 2 p.m. And we will be doing that via the big blue button. So you can log into the course, go to the conference tab, and then click on the big blue button orientation session, and you can get into that. And it will be recorded if you cannot attend, and I can also provide a phone number if you do need to call in. At that time, what we're going to do is we're going to review the syllabus. We're going to look at the course schedule and go over that real clearly so you know when everything is due. We'll have some overview on the general course instructions, and then we'll go through the modules so you can look at them, talk about your exams, talk about your assignments, and the grading policy, communication, honor code, and social media policy. And then we will also be looking at Proctorio. So we have a lot of content in this course. We have module 1 through 5, and each module has very specific content in it. Module 1 is going to briefly cover the family health model, because that's something that's really important when in primary care, is to include the family, and that's part of patient-centered care and shared decision making. Is to make sure that the family or the significant others are included in the plan of care. And then we also have a module, not even a module, a lesson on breaking bad news. And this is where you will learn about breaking bad news to patients, because this is something that you are going to have to do in primary care eventually if you practice long enough. And it's not something that's fun to do, and we're just going to give you some guidelines on how it might help you to be prepared for this. We're going to look at eye disorders, ear, nose, sinus, pharynx, mouth, and neck on Module 1. Then we move to Module 2. Module 2 will cover male GU disorders and renal and bladder disorders. Then move to Module 3, which will be all dermatology, because that is a lot of content. So there'll be 2 full weeks of dermatology. Then we move to Module 4, where we'll work on chronic and arthritic musculoskeletal disorders, which is a little bit different than Module 5, upper and lower body musculoskeletal. In the chronic and arthritic, we're looking at osteoarthritis, osteoporosis, we're looking at lupus, fibromyalgia, those type of things, chronic fatigue, and then anemia and some blood disorders. And then Module 5, as I said, we have broken it down into upper body and lower body musculoskeletal disorders. So how are we going to get started in the course? The best thing you can do is start to look through the course and become familiar with the layout and the modules in the course. And the layout is pretty clear, and the modules are pretty much the same throughout the whole course. When you look at the beginning of the course in the start section, you're going to see a student and faculty demographic sheet. And this demographic sheet is something that we would like you to fill in, because this gives us an idea on what your work hours are if we need to reach you. It's also great for other students to reach you, to develop a study group if you would like to do that. And you're more than welcome to put your phone numbers in there, although you do not have to do that. You could just put your email, so other students might want to reach you if they need you to form a study group, or maybe you've become familiar with them and you all just want to talk. All of the modules are laid out the same. So you'll see the objectives, and you'll see the PowerPoints and the YouTube videos and all the modules. And there's some links in there to some real important information. I also have physical exam videos, which are linked to the topics. And that is really a good thing for you to download, because those are things that you are going to be using at Clinical Bound, some of those physical exam skills. So it would be good for you to maybe hone in on your skills if you want to, and just practice using those videos. And then there's anything else that you may need there. There's also, if you look below the student demographic section, there's a section on NP scope of practice, and that's real important for you to look at and familiarize yourself with also. So as I said earlier, in regards to preparing for the modules, every 2 weeks in this course, you're going to start a new module. And I said this in the previous slide about the objectives and the content and the readings and so forth. Only read the content that is listed in the module. You don't need to read about any conditions that are not listed in the module. So as you may go through your textbook, and there may be some content on the same page as another required reading, don't read those unless you want to do it for your own benefit. So look at the syllabus for the topics that you're required to be responsible for, and don't put yourself in a position where you're reading stuff that you don't need to read at this point, unless it's something you would like to hone in on. And I'm sure everyone is wondering about the graded content. Well, we have 5 exams in this course. The first exam is open book, and that is in week 3. And the reason I do open book is to give you an idea on what the exams might feel like and what the content might feel like that goes on the exam. And I don't want you to think because it's open book that you don't need to study, because historically students don't do as well on an open book exam because they do think they can just open their book and try to find the answer. And these are timed, so you will be running out of time if you do that. So you really need to know the content before you even start the open book exam. And then there will be 4 closed book exams in week 5, 7, 9, and 10. And all of the exams are remotely proctored through Frontier. You must achieve an 80% average in all exams in order to pass the course. So that is an average. Now you may fail exam 1 and not do really well on exam 2 and really do well on exam 3, 4, and 5. Or you may fail exam 4, but you've done well on all the other exams. You just have to have an 80% average across all 5 of those exams to pass the course. And that is over and above your assignments. That's before you do any of the assignments. And so even if you get straight A's on the assignments that we've listed below and you have failed your exams, you would fail the course. The assignments that you have, there's 2. There's a SOAP Note Challenge assignment, and you have a written prescription that is due with that. And then there's also a difficult conversation simulation activity. And this is basically breaking bad news to a patient in the with a standardized patient that we have from Wright State University. And we'll talk more about that as we get into all the assignments during the orientation. But it's a real great assignment that all the students really enjoy. So looking at the grade breakdown, each of the exams are worth 16 points each. So there's 32 questions on the exam. They're worth a half a point each, so that gives you 16 points, and that's worth 80% of your grade. The SOAP Note Challenge assignment with the prescription is 15 points, or 15% of your grade. And then the difficult conversation simulation activity is a 5-point assignment for 5% of your grade. So you'll have a total of 100 points for the potential for the course.
When we talk about exams, there's no paper or pencil, no phones, no food, no one in the room with you, including pets. You can't have your cat crawling across the screen. You can't have your cat on the desk. You can't have your dogs barking. You can't have your kids in the room. You can't have your husband coming in the room. And you cannot be talking to yourself when you're doing the exam. There are no makeup quizzes or exams. I cannot stress this enough to you. I have had up to 5 students a semester fail my course because they forgot to take the quiz on the date it was due, or they forgot to take the exam by the date it was due. And this is such a disappointment when you get to week 7 or 8 of the course and you are supposed to take a quiz and the deadline is Sunday night and you realize on Monday that the quiz closed yesterday. So you will fail the course because you can't pass when you're missing that amount of points. So I can't stress to you enough the importance of making sure that you are actually taking these quizzes and exams on time. They're open for 1 full week. So you have, usually 1 full week to take them. There's no extensions on exams or quizzes unless it's a medical emergency that can be documented by a doctor's note, or it's a family emergency that can be documented by a doctor's note. And there are no exceptions to this, because if I do it for one, I have to do it for everyone, and we can't do that. There's also a 5-minute review at the end of the quizzes and the exam. And then you can make an appointment with the faculty for up to 3 days after the exam to be able to discuss the content. We can't go over specific questions for you. We can't discuss the questions, but we can talk to you about the content. Faculty do make an analysis of the exam. We do a quiz analysis and exam analysis after the exam closes. So we may end up giving a point back or something, or a half a point. We never know if there's a problem where too many people have missed it, or the question is not a good question or something. But we try to not to do that, and we try to look at them and make sure all the questions are set beforehand. But we really, after 3 days after the exam, we don't want you asking for a review. And the reason for that is we've moved on to the next content and we need to just let that exam go. So we won't be doing any exam reviews after that. So you may not know how to take a test, and I can't tell you how to take an exam. I can't tell you how to study. Only you know the best way for you to study. But I highly recommend you go to this website and you take the questionnaire for the VARC, because the VARC really gives you a good idea on what your learning style is. And I took this and I was amazed. It was right on the head. And everybody I know that has taken this questionnaire, it ends up being very specific to them. So I would like you to go onto this website and go ahead and do that. So, what are some of the do's and don'ts for the course? Well, my recommendation for you is to plan to have your assignments done 1 week ahead of time. If you populate that 1 week ahead on your calendar from the due date, then this gives you a time to make changes, make any corrections, to add anything, delete anything, revise anything that you want to do. Um, you do need to notify the faculty within 48 hours in advance if you need to extend an exam or an assignment because of a medical emergency. That it's going to be, depending on a case by case basis, it may or may not be approved. And it really is going to depend on the circumstances. But you need to notify us 48 hours in advance if there is a medical reason that you are not able to complete your assignment or take your exam. I do recommend that you find a study partner or a group to get into, because this really has helped the students many times. And if you go into the first little bracket of the course under modules, you'll see that there's like a section there where the students have given you tips on how to be successful in the course. And I think it would be a good idea for you to maybe read those. Let faculty know if you're having difficulty. This is the problem that we seem to have sometimes with students, is that they don't tell us. We do not have the ability to know if your husband has left you, if your wife has left you, if your mom or dad are in hospice, if your son or daughter is critically ill, if your mother or father have passed. We just don't know those things. So it's really important that you reach out to me or Dr. Gardner if you feel that you are struggling because of a family issue. One of the things that I love about Frontier Nursing University is that your family comes first. And I want everybody to understand that your family comes first. So if you've got those issues going on, please reach out to us and let us know what is going on. We are here to help you, but we can't help you if we don't know. Some of the don'ts. Don't try to memorize this information. You need to understand the information. You are really going to struggle if you don't understand it because you cannot go out there and take care of your patients safely if you do not understand the information. Don't wait to begin a module or study for a test. I think it's important that you try to study at least 10 to 12 days ahead of time. We do try to do the BBBs about 10 days ahead of time, but you are responsible to start studying even before we have the BBBs. Do not start an assignment on a Friday if it's due on Monday because the faculty are off on the weekends, so we will not be answering emails or phone calls on those days. So what you need to do is think about having that assignment started ahead, as I said, and don't anticipate that we will be there on the weekend to help guide you. Because if your assignment's due Sunday night, you're going to be out of luck. So make sure you have any questions to us before Friday at the close of business at 5 o'clock. And try not to take your test when IT is closed because that can be a problem. Okay. If you don't understand a concept, then you need to search for other resources to help you understand that concept. The quiz and the exam reviews are helpful, but they're not inclusive. So let them steer your studying habits, but don't rely on them for everything. Your success in this class depends on being able to use your resources successfully and to critically think and to incorporate the 3 Ps that you just came out of. So you are going to be bringing your physical assessment skills, your pathophysiology knowledge, and your pharmacology knowledge to this course. And if you don't do that, you're going to have a really hard time in the course. So make sure you have all those 3P books available to you when you're going to be working in the course. So it's up to you to be successful. We can't do it for you. We can guide you. We can give you all the tools, but we're not able to help you be or we're not able to be successful for you. And we look forward to a wonderful semester with all of you and hope that you will really leave here learning a lot of information in regards to primary care one to take care of your patient.